The Galactic Council's War Memorial Hall stretched across 3 kilometers of polished crystalline floor, its walls adorned with the names of warriors from 1,000 worlds. Commander Darcy Morgan stood before the massive holographic display. Her Marine Corps dress blues a stark contrast to the iridescent robes worn by the alien dignitaries surrounding her. "Behold," announced High Chancellor Vexthor, his mandibles clicking with pride, "the greatest warrior in recorded galactic history." The hologram shimmered to life, displaying a towering Krilthan warrior, his chitinous armor scarred from countless battles. Below his 3-dimensional image, numbers scrolled in every known language. Warlord Kreshnak, the Unbreakable, confirmed eliminations. 847, service duration, 40 standard cycles. A collective murmur of reverence rippled through the assembled delegates. The Krilthan ambassador, a smaller specimen of the insectoid race, straightened with visible pride. "No warrior in the 5,000-year history of the Galactic Federation has exceeded this count," Vexthor continued, his voice carrying the weight of absolute certainty. "Warlord Kreshnak achieved this over 4 decades of service, participating in the siege of Manthor Prime, the Battle of—" "I'm sorry," Darcy interrupted, her voice calm but clear enough to cut through the Chancellor's speech. "Did you say 847? The hall fell silent. Vexithor's eye stalks swiveled toward her, confusion evident in their movements. "Indeed, Commander Morgan, 847 confirmed eliminations. An unprecedented record." Darcy's expression remained neutral, but those who knew her well, like her fellow Marine Ronnie Jang, standing 2 paces behind, could see the slight curl at the corner of her mouth. "With all due respect, Chancellor, that record was broken last month." The Krilthan ambassador's antennae twitched aggressively. "Impossible! No species has produced a warrior capable of— Sergeant Ronnie Zhang, would you pull up the casualty reports from the Kepler Station incident?" Darcy asked without turning. Ronnie stepped forward, his datapad already active. He'd known this was coming. You didn't serve 3 tours with Darcy without learning to anticipate her moves. "Yes, ma'am." His fingers danced across the screen. "Uploading to the main display now." The hologram flickered, and Warlord Kreshenak's imposing figure was replaced by a tactical readout. Red markers dotted a 3-dimensional map of a space station, each one representing an enemy contact. The timestamp showed the date, exactly 32 days prior. Kepler Station was a civilian mining facility on the edge of human space, Darcy began, her tone shifting into the clinical cadence of a military briefing. It was seized by a mercenary group called the Void Reapers, a coalition of Draxian pirates, rogue Krilthan warriors, and Tellurian shock troops. Approximately 900 hostiles, heavily armed, holding 2,000 civilian hostages. Vexthor's translator implant struggled with the rapid-fire delivery. "Surely your military deployed a full battalion to—" "No, Chancellor. Command determined a large-scale assault would result in unacceptable civilian casualties, so they sent 1 Marine." The silence that followed was absolute. The Krilthan ambassador's vocalization sac inflated with indignation. "1? Preposterous! No single warrior, regardless of species, could—" "Lance Corporal Sarah Chen," Ronnie said, expanding the file. A personnel photo appeared. A young woman, barely 23 standard years, with dark eyes that seemed too old for her face. Service record: 3 years active duty, specialist in close-quarters combat and hostage extraction. Darcy continued. Chen infiltrated Kepler Station through a damaged airlock. She had 72 hours before the mercenaries began executing hostages. She had no support, no backup, and limited ammunition. The tactical display began to animate, showing Chen's route through the station. Red markers began to disappear. She cleared Deck 7 in the first 6 hours. 43 hostiles eliminated, 0 civilian casualties. More red markers vanished from the display. Deck 6 took longer. The Draxians had set up automated turrets. She disabled them, used them against the enemy forces. 67 eliminated. The assembled delegates watched in stunned silence as the animation continued, deck by deck, hour by hour. The Krilthan warriors were positioned on Deck 3, guarding the main hostage-holding area. They considered themselves the elite. Darcy's voice hardened. Chen went through them like they were training dummies. 89 eliminated. The Krilthan ambassador made a strangled sound. The final stand was in the command center. The mercenary leader, a Tellurian named Vorgash, had surrounded himself with his best troops and rigged the hostages with explosives as insurance. Darcy paused. Chen gave him one chance to surrender. And, Vexthor asked, despite himself drawn into the narrative. He refused. Bad decision. The display showed the command center breach, a blur of motion that the tactical computer could barely track. Red markers disappeared in rapid succession. Total engagement time, 71 hours and 43 minutes. Total hostile eliminations, 896. Total civilian casualties, 0. Darcy turned to face the council. Lance Corporal Chen didn't just break your record, Chancellor. She shattered it. And she did it in 3 days, not 4 decades. Ronnie added quietly. She also refused the Medal of Honor. Said she was just doing her job. The Krilthan ambassador's legs trembled. This cannot be verified. Where is this warrior now? Why is she not here to... She's back on rotation, Darcy said simply. Standing guard on some cargo freighter in the Outer Rim. Like I said, she considers it just part of the job. Vexthor's eye stalks drooped. We had no idea humans were capable of such... Ferocity? Darcy supplied. Lethality? Determination? She softened slightly. Chancellor, with respect, your warlord Kreshnak was undoubtedly a great warrior, but he fought in wars with armies behind him, with support and supply lines and reinforcements. Our Marines are trained to operate alone, behind enemy lines, with nothing but their wits and their weapons. We call it, every Marine a rifleman. Every single one of us is trained to do what Chen did. Ronnie couldn't help but add, Chen's not even in our top 10. Sir. The hall erupted in shocked murmurs. Delegates turned to each other, their translators working overtime to convey disbelief in a dozen languages. Darcy looked back at the memorial display, where Warlord Kreshnak's image had returned. We mean no disrespect to your warriors, Chancellor. They fought bravely for their people, but humanity didn't ask to join the galactic community as conquerors. We came looking for friends, for trading partners, for a place among the stars. She met Vexthor's gaze directly. But if someone threatens human lives, threatens innocence under our protection, they'll learn very quickly why Earth's most decorated military branch has a motto that translates to first to fight. They'll learn why our Marines are called devil dogs. And they'll learn why you don't want to find out what a human is capable of when there's no other option. Ronnie secured his datapad. The Void Reapers certainly learned. As Darcy and Ronnie turned to leave the memorial hall, Vexthor called out, Commander Morgan, this Lance Corporal Chen. Is she truly content to simply return to routine duty? Darcy paused at the entrance. Chancellor, that's what separates us from warriors who fight for glory. Marines fight because someone has to. And when the fighting's done, we go back to standing watch, so everyone else can sleep safely. She allowed herself a slight smile. Besides, Chen mentioned she's got a little sister in college. She's more interested in making sure her siblings' tuition is paid than in standing in halls like this. As the two Marines exited, the gathered delegates stood in silence, staring at the scrolling numbers on the display. Somewhere, a young human woman was standing guard on a cargo freighter, probably drinking recycled coffee and complaining about the quality of shipboard food. And the galaxy was just beginning to understand what humanity truly meant when they said, Semper Fidelis.